Hi everyone, it's the Comic Fan Man here coming at you with another video. And in today's video, we're going to have a look here at the Mythic Legions Legendary Barbarian. This is their con exclusive figure. So everywhere, every con that the Four Horsemen show up at for 2025, they will have a few of these. And I have to give a special shout out here to a member of the Mythic Legions Cabal Facebook group. He goes by the IG of Wayne 12 Scale. I will put a link to his IG in the description below, so please give him a look and follow him. I put it out there that I really wanted this figure, and I offered a trade. He accepted the figure that I had for the trade, and I really appreciated it. The Four Horsemen did say that even if you miss out on any of the cons this year, that they have set aside some of these figures to sell them at the end of the year on their Four Horsemen website. So, you know, if you're patient, you know, you can still definitely get this by the end of the year from their Four Horsemen website at the regular price, because right now the secondary market on this figure is on fire. This figure can run anywhere from $150 to $200+, and I was really happy. The figure that I traded was pretty much on equal value with this one. It was a figure that I had from another collection. He was interested, he really wanted it, so we met up and we traded, and I was really happy. He went to the Toy Con in New Jersey. That's where he got a couple of these, and again, you know, thank you, brother. That this one really helped me out here. I was gonna wait till the end of the year, but I figured since I had that other figure, I said, okay, you know what, let me see if anybody would be interested in trading. And yeah, and he did me a solid here. We'll take a look here. He doesn't seem to belong to any faction. His right up here kind of makes it seem like, you know, he's from legendary times before the 10 factions took over Mythos. And take a look and pause here. The right up on the back. Very cool, beautiful work here by the Four Horsemen, and I am super excited because they named him the Legendary Barbarian for a reason, and I'm going to pull everything out and we're gonna have a look to see why on Motu Tuesdays I'm choosing to do this Mythic Legions Legendary Barbarian. All right, here he is out of the box with most of his accessories. There's a couple of little accessories that I didn't put out here because I want to show you that separately. But here, let's go through these. As you can see, he comes with 5 sets of hands that you can swap out, which is amazing. He's got 2 weapon holding hands right now, and these weapon holding hands are on the horizontal hinge, and then the other 2 weapon holding hands here, these have the vertical hinge, so you can move it up and down. It's a little cold right now, so it's kind of hard to move at the moment, but really nice. Look at that wash and sculpt on there, beautiful detail. He's got 2 closed fists, so that's amazing. He's ready to knock you out with a rock hard body blow. Very cool. He's got these 2 almost like ready to choke you out type hands here. Again, the sculpt, the detail, and the wash on this makes it look so beautiful. And then finally, he has these 2 like reaching out open hands. and that's really nice. Again, the sculpt and the paint job that they did on this is immaculate. So those are the hands. He also comes with these 3 different types of shackles here. He's got these 2 smaller ones here. So these are for the wrist. And then he's got this bigger one, which I believe goes around his neck. But it's going to be obviously hard to see with that, but this is not meant for that bearded one. But these are beautiful little detailed shackles. I love the paint. I love the chains that are hanging off of it, like he just snapped them. Very nice. And then he's got these 2 horns here. You know, these horns are pretty regular for Mythic Legions. Again, I have not been a big Mythic Legions collector, but I have gotten into it a little bit more recently, and I think this is really cool. You just pop these into these peg holes here so that you can make your warrior a little horny. But it's really cool. You can turn them. You can turn them facing downward. That's really cool. And yeah, these are a normal look for Mythic Legions. These kind of horns. They come on quite a few of the figures here. He's got these shoulder pauldrons. And look at, again, the weathering, the damage, the battle damage. Really, really nice. I love it. I love the way these look. Put that off to the side there. And then for his shield, he's got this little shield here. Now, it's interesting because over here we got battle damage on the pauldrons, but on the shield, which would more than likely be taking the damage, it's really clean. So, yeah, I wish they would have done a little bit of battle damage on this. But overall, it is a really neat looking shield. And they gave it 2 different shield clip options here. So this is their newer one where it kind of gives it a proper handle. And this is the classic one where it C-clips right onto their wrist. I tend to like this one better than these because this one, if you're not careful, it could leave an impression on their gauntlets or their arms, or it can snap. So because this plastic it's a hard, brittle plastic. So this one, for me, the handle is a lot safer to use. For the shield, he comes with this extra belt here for his weapon. It has a sheath right there for his sword. Look at that, really nice sculpt and wash and paint. Beautiful belt. This is very different from the belts that I've gotten so far. I've gotten a belt for Quaros, and it looked nothing like this. Like, Quaros' belt is very simple and plain without the wash and the paint. This looks really, really nice. Dig that. And let's go into the axe first. Look at that. Beautiful sculpting. I know this has been reused, but again, I don't have it because I just started buying Mythic Legions figures. And this looks amazing. I loved all the sculpting in there, the patina, the washing. That's really nice. The color is really cool. And then it comes into the sword. Now this sword I do have. It came with the Battle Cat figure in blue and burgundy color. I'll show you that later. But this one is, this plastic is different. It's, again, that brittle, hard plastic. And be careful when taking it out the box. Although mine is fine, I have seen a couple of reviewers where this piece, the tip of it, does snap off. just because of the way it's in the plastic. I was really careful. I turned it from this end, from the guard, and popped it up from that way so as to not to snap it, and it worked. But yeah, I was really afraid to take the sword out because yeah, this is different. The Quaros one is a little more rubbery, so it's got some give to it. But this one is more of a hard, brittle plastic. And again, they did this. It's not a clean paint job, and I think that's on purpose. I'm okay with it because you gotta remember, this is like one of the early barbarians before the 10 tribes. So this would be like sort of like a steel that's kind of not clean. So I'm okay with that. I think that looks really cool. Makes it look like he hammered it out himself. All right, before I show you the other accessories, let's go over the figure himself. And let's take a look here. This head sculpt here, this is from their Dwarven faction, but it looks really nice. That beard is crazy. He's got the braids, he's got wash there, he's got this really nice kind of like reddish brown. The gunmetal on his helmet is beautiful. Really, really stunning. And you saw me place the horns in there. Very cool. And as we go down, look at the detail on his armor. Very nice. And he's got cloth goods underneath, which have a very tiny wire, which works really well. As you can see here on this one, the wire is sticking out a little bit, so I'm gonna have to fix that later. And he does have one more wire in the back here, so you can do some nice little like breeze shots. There's no wire in the center one here, so it's just this and a regular fabric, but that's a nice little, like almost like a burlap styled fabric. Look at that. Look at the wash that they did on his belt there. The fur looks really cool. He's got these two little wristbands here, which are very, very nice and small and delicate. And this, unlike the regular Mythic Legions, these come out on their own. So pop this off and you can actually pop off the bracers themselves. So this is different from the ones that I've had before because the gauntlet is normally part of the arm. So you would have to pull out the gauntlet. And it normally cuts up here. So that's really cool that this one doesn't have that cut. It's just a full arm. The legs are really good, kind of tight right now because it's brand new. But look at that, nice, gives you a nice split. Fabric and the side guards don't really get in the way. And the rotation used normally is around the knee, but they did a boot cut on this guy. And that's really good. And then look at the wash and patina on the leather here. Makes it look really great. And his body it's not just a reuse of the regular barbarian body. There's a nice like skin texture on there, like it's porous and it looks good. Like I'll show you him compared to another barbarian body that I have later, and you'll see like there's a nice texture to his skin, whereas on the other ones it's just smooth all the way through. He also has this ball joint on a peg, so this can also go back and forth to give him more range. The other ones, the regular body only has the ball joint, so you can actually really make him look up really well. So that's kind of neat. And I'll show you when we get into posing how that looks. And the figure himself is just amazing. I forgot to show you the back here. Now he's got these ports here. All the Mythic Legions figures have this. This is for like wing accessories, and then these ports here for the pauldrons. but really, really great. Look at the armor on the back, skirt. Very good. All right, so that is the figure himself. And now I'm going to show you why they call him the Legendary Barbarian. First things first, here, take a look at, this is the alternate head sculpt that he comes with. And obviously this head sculpt is amazing, and it is a wonderful, wonderful callback to a legendary barbarian known as Conan. This is a beautiful, beautiful tribute to the way Frank Frazetta had painted Conan's face. And he comes with these 3 different types of hair colors. They're all the same hair. It's all molded the same. They're just 3 different colors. So let's take a look at what these hair colors look on him. You just simply pop the hair color on him. And this is the first one. This is the brownish hair. And I believe this is a callback to Hercules from Kevin Sorbo's Hercules, because Kevin Sorbo's hair was this color. So I think this first one would be a callback to Hercules. This next one is obviously a wonderful tribute to Conan, because this has the Sumerian face with the Sumerian jet black hair. So yes, this is a wonderful, wonderful callback to Conan. And then finally, the whole reason this fits into my Motu Tuesday is because his final hair sculpt here makes him look like a very, very angry fighting He-Man. And I think that looks wonderful. All right, so very quickly I want to show you the differences between the 1.0 Barbarian body and 2.0 Barbarian body. First and foremost is that skin texture. As you can see, he has all of this beautiful porous skin texture all over his flesh, even on his legs there. And that looks fantastic. They did a great job there. And on the 1.0 body, it's smooth. Not that there's a problem with it, it still looks fantastic. But it is smooth. It doesn't look like skin. So it's a nice upgrade. I like that they did that. And of course, because it is porous, the wash really picks up on it really nicely. Another thing is the shape of the body. He's more slender here, where this one's more puffed out. So his arms only stick out, whereas his arms can go down by the side there, like for a natural look. That looks fantastic. The proportions on the arms are also very different here. As you can see, his arms are longer and they're just like more properly proportioned, whereas his seem to be a little bit more stumpy, I guess, for a better lack of a better word there. And also, as you can see, his forearms are complete, whereas the forearms on the 1.0 is actually cut off there, so that way the gauntlet has a rotation there. And it's a great design. I don't have any issues with it, but I do like this, especially now that I can actually put some of the Masterverse pauldrons on it, Masterverse armor on the arms. I think that's fantastic. So those are the differences. Pretty much the same. Oh, yes, and he has, this is the regular ball joint for the old one. And then for the new one, as you can see, it's got the ball and the hinge Very cool. One more thing, I almost forgot the differences between these swords here. So as you can see, this is the new one. This is the one that came with the Battle Cat figure. And this one, if you can hear that, this is the hard brittle one, where this one has more of the little bit of a twist to it. It's also a hard plastic, but it's just not like this one. This one is just really hard, and you got to be careful when you pull it out of the box, because it has broken off the tip. I think Dorklayer showed that he had to glue this piece back on. So be careful when pulling this sword out of the package. All right, so here he is in the Kevin Sorbo Hercules style look. I decided if I was ever gonna do him as like that kind of Hercules, I'd put him with the full armor. Because that Hercules show, that was the one where, that's the one barbarian hero that actually like was kind of fully clothed and wore armor a lot. So yeah, I decided, all right, well, if I'm gonna do that, because of the hair color, I might as well do all the armor on him. Look at that, that looks fantastic. And look at this strap here. Wonderful, the way it overlays on each other. And I love the little detail there with the gold buckle and silver buttons. That's fantastic. And it goes around on the back. It also has a gold button there. And then this has the holster for the sword. Really fantastic.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
All right, so here he is in the iconic movie Conan pose, and I think that looks fantastic. Obviously, this is the reason why a lot of people actually want this figure, is to make this Conan. And as you can see from the face sculpt and the hairstyle, he looks like a fabulous Frank Frazetta styled Conan. So now I have here movie Conan, comic book Conan Kitbash, and the Frank Frazetta style Conan tribute here from the Four Horsemen. I think it looks fantastic. Only thing is I have to change this blade. Give me 1 second, because that is not the blade from Atlantis. That is not the Atlantean blade. Here we go. Now he has the Atlantean blade from the movie, and that's perfect. Oops, sorry. Sorry, comic book Conan. There we go. Do it that way. And there you go. You got the 3 Conans together in that fantastic pose from the movie. And yeah, he looks absolutely stunning. I love it. He looks like a perfect description of the Conan from the books, from the Robert E. Howard books, from Frank Frazetta's paintings. Four Horsemen really did a fantastic job sculpting this guy. And yeah, using the Atlantean blade that came with the Super 7 figure kind of completes the look here. But, you know, that's not all. Like, he can dual wield, or, you know, he can hold the sword with both hands, because the articulation is nice on this figure. It's not perfect. You know, it is still basically the same articulation that all Mythic Legion figures have. But look at that. That looks really, really great. You know, him holding the blade, him reaching out with the other hand to grab the hilt there. Turning it ever so slightly. Really, really beautiful. All right, and here is Conan escaping his prison, all chained up, only to run into a huge giant here. This is Scar from Marvel Legends. And yeah, this would obviously be a major battle for Conan. And yeah, these prison chains look really dope. I love the fact that they just dangle there. Really, really great looking. And yeah, Scar. I said if Marvel really wanted to make a quick buck, they would just take Scar and do him up in like a flesh tone, release him like a Conan, and he would still be really, really good. And I think Marvel would make money that way. A quick buck on something that they've already made. But yeah, I think this looks fantastic. So yes, he makes a perfect Conan, and I'm sure this is the reason why most people got him. Although this is not the reason why I got him. The reason why I got him is coming up in the next bit, because I did order the Frazetta Girls Icons Frank Frazetta Conan. So I'm waiting for that figure to come in. So because I know that that figure is going to be my definitive Conan in this collection here, I'm going to use his blonde hair to turn him into He-Man.
By the power of Grayskull.
All right, and here he is, the figure that I intended to make with this legendary barbarian from the beginning, the Mythos version of He-Man. And I think this came out fantastic. Just so that you see here, I did use some new Eternia stuff here. This is from the new Eternia He-Man. That's his chest plate and shoulder pauldron, along with the arm bracer here. I think that's a really cool look. Kind of gives him like that man-at-arms, one armored arm look there. And of all the harnesses that I have, this one seems to fit this body the best. It just fits more with his proportions, and I love the fact that they did the leather straps here. So it's really cool. I think it really plays really nicely into what the Mythic Legions was doing. I think it fits really well with the rest of this design here, just kind of making him look unique. And just so that you see here, for the sword, I am using the sword that came with the Gwildor and Orko 2-pack. I think it's really cool because it's got this little energy change there. So it kind of makes it look like he's calling down the power. I think that looks amazing. And I know a lot of people got this, you know, to make the Conan. But for me, I love the fact that he looks like a really rough and rugged and grizzled looking He-Man. For me, when I was a kid, you know, Conan was a big influence on me, and that always played with my imagination when I thought of Eternia. Yes, unfortunately, I did see Conan a lot sooner than what I should have. But, you know, mom wasn't going to leave me at home by myself. So, you know, Conan did burn what I thought the idea was of barbarians in my brain, for a second grade brain. And that's kind of what I stuck to. So when I played with my Masters of the Universe action figures, it was always like characters were getting killed left, right, and center in, like, you know, very Conan the Barbarian style ways. But yeah, I love this. I think this is a perfect look of what my idea of what He-Man should have been. Mark Taylor, who is the father of the He-Man finalized design. You know, Robert Sweet did the mock-up design, but Mark Taylor was the one in charge of his final finished look. And he himself said that he always saw He-Man as this gigantic badass who would, like, you know, he would get into barroom brawls or tavern fights, and and come out and, you know, and then go on to do something heroic.
They always talk about that guy that went into a bar and just kicked everybody's ass. I mean, that's what they talk about. You just seen he's huge, and you know, he had scars, and they go on. And I wanted that hero mixed with the Galahad legend.
You know, that's the way I see this He-Man, and I think this is a look that I believe if Mark Taylor was still alive, I believe Mark Taylor would have given this his blessing. I think he would have definitely appreciated this look for He-Man. And for me personally, like I said, I've always loved the rough and rugged idea of He-Man. I've always thought of Eternia as like a dark fantasy. So even for me, if you look at my logo that I drew, even I drew He-Man with a broken nose, like he got punched in the face. And that was just my idea of what He-Man should be. Like, he should be a fighter. He should be like what Conan was in the movie. So I love that idea, and I love this look because this look really fits into that idea. And yeah, it just looks really nice. And look, the back of the harness here kind of hides his pegs a little bit, so that's really cool. But the leather strapping goes all the way around. So yeah, it works with the rest of the look of this figure. And I love it. And of course, you can't have a He-Man without a Skeletor. So here, the nice thing about Mythic Legions is that you can definitely kitbash what you don't have. And so I did get a second Webster figure fodder. And this is from eBay, and I was able to get it for like 20 bucks. Somebody on eBay is selling these, just the bodies, not anything else. It's just the body by itself for like 20 bucks. So I was able to get this figure, and then I got the head separately, and I painted in his Skeletor eyes. Look at that. And I think this worked out really well. And this is the cape from Masterverse. I believe this cape came with Andra. And it looks great. And although Skeletor, obviously, this is the skeleton bodies from Mythic Legions, I still think it looks nice. So, you know, Skeletor is more of a wizard anyway, so he doesn't need all the muscles. He's a magic bony guy from Mythos. And I think they work really, really well together. I love this look. All right, and very quickly, here is Sir Owain, who has now become Sir Kitbash for me. Because I'm just putting parts on him that I get that's left over from other figures. Sir Owain, I've been using his parts to kitbash the Monkey King clone. And, you know, whatever parts I've had left over, I'm just throwing it on him. And I think it looks pretty cool. And this Legendary Barbarian head, eventually, I am going to use this head to create a Ram Man. Because if you see Mark Taylor's early designs for Ram Man, he does have a helmet with horns and a beard. Alright, and while I was at it, I figured, you know, my different type of He-Man deserves a different type of Teela. So I took my Frank Frazetta Icons Vampirella, and I swapped out the Teela head for it, and yeah, the head sculpt matches the flesh tone, so that's pretty neat. And I gave her the Serpent Staff of Ka. So yeah, you can have a different type of Teela for my different type of He-Man, and it works out wonderfully. And here he is side by side with the other Four Horsemen He-Man designs, and they look great together. I think this is really cool. As anybody knows me who have seen any of my videos, 2000X Masters of the Universe is definitely my favorite reimagining of Motu, because I think that one came the closest to like my dark fantasy idea of what Motu should have been, or what Motu was. I mean, Filmation, nothing to take away from it. That was also my childhood and I loved it. But you know, obviously Filmation made it very cartoony and child friendly, whereas, you know, I was already exposed to Conan at that time, you know, and for me to see He-Man come with an axe and a sword, you know, I always thought of He-Man as like, you know, the dark fantasy character. So 2001 kind of came close to that. But this was the Four Horsemen's design for the He-Man of that show. And then when Motu Classics came out, the Four Horsemen came up with this design for He-Man. And this is obviously now the body that they use for Super 7. I did get a custom vintage style He-Man head for this figure. But yeah, I think they look together like really, really awesome. I love the way they look. So yeah, I know, like, you know, people got them for Conan, but you know, for me, this is really, really what I wanted them for. All right. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Legendary Barbarian from Mythic Legions. And once again, I do want to send a special shout out to Wayne 12 Scale from the Mythic Legions Cabal for doing the trade with me to get me this figure. I really appreciate it, brother. I'm really, really happy with this figure. And as somebody who missed out on the Four Horsemen's initial release of the Mythic Legions line, obviously there are some figures that I missed that I won't be able to get, such as their Motu tributes to He-Man, Skeletor, Man-at-Arms. Like, those figures in the aftermarket are absolutely astronomical, the prices of those. But that does give me some faith in the line of Mythic Legions, because it lets me know that these figures are going to gain value over time. So I'm really, really happy about that, and I'm glad I'm glad I found them. Again, I do have some gripes with their reuse, but you know what? The work that they do with what they offer is pretty amazing. And the fact that you can turn this figure into, you know, like a Hercules or a Conan or He-Man is really, really amazing. It makes me really, it just gives this figure so many different kind of options that you can do, that it's really worth the price that you pay for it. Although again, if at all possible, I just happen to have a figure that was on the same value of this figure, so that's why I did the trade. But waiting till the end of the year, you'll be able to get the figure at his regular price, and you know, you don't have to pay the flipper scalper prices that are on eBay right now, because they're pretty crazy. But it's only because this is a con exclusive figure at the moment, but at the end of the year he will be released, so just be patient. But in any case, I love the figure. As you can see, he makes a perfect He-Man to fit into my Motu tributes from the Four Horsemen, and I love it. So I'm glad to have him, glad to add him to my collection. And if you enjoyed this video and you feel that I've earned it, please give me a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye now.